agree. Coconut.
Good Thursday evening to you, Alpha Quadrant. Bill Smith here alongside the Hall of Famer, Dan Davidson, for another episode of Thursday Night Geeks presented by FanSets. Dan, it's been
Hey,
a
buddy.
week since we convened, and
Mhm.
I would say it's good to see you, but really I can't think of anything better to say. So it's
That's right. I'll
good
say
to
it.
see you.
I'll say it. It's good to see you, pal.
Wow. Nobody has asked of what you were in the Hall of Fame for. We're going to leave that as a secret. Someday they'll discover it.
Yes, we may
Um,
we may reveal it someday. Good to see you, man. It's always fun to join you on Thursday night, as well as all the people that are joining us live. And really, for kind of the first time since we kicked off this incredibly interesting live show, we're not going to talk about Star Trek, possibly for a majority of it.
Well, I think that's partially true. I think we've got a couple of tidbits to talk about up front before we
Yes,
kind of get to
that's
the main body.
what the possibly was.
Yeah, but I think we've done one other episode that didn't intentionally talk about Star Trek. We kind of did sort of in an auxiliary way of sorts.
Oh, I like that. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah.
That's
But,
why I
no,
kind of run the show, is to
I-
let me use all those $5 words.
I would not want anybody else to run the show because I only have 20-cent words at best.
Well, usually Garcia's here. He apparently is
Uh.
taking the night off. It's so hard to find good help. But just want to run through some comments real quick. Hey, Willow. Hey, Jim. What to watch when avoiding the news? Yeah, I guess it is kind of a lot of the time, but sometimes I kind of have to watch it. Thunderstorms and all.
Yes.
Some jerk named Dan Davidson is in the chat. I don't know about that.
Loser.
But
Yeah.
good evening, Winslow. Good evening, Burley. Good to have everybody here. Dan, we're going to have a fun discussion tonight. At times, well, let me rephrase. During the pandemic, we started talking about things we were watching because it was really kind of hard to stay connected to the world where kind of it was all falling down around us,
Mhm.
Hi, Kate. Oh, sorry.
Hi, Katie.
Hello, Kate. I had to do that. I'm sorry, Kate. I'm sorry. It's in my contract. So we kind of, we're looking at other things to watch to sort of get away from things. And it occurs to me as I watched the news for the first time in months the other day that I need a new list of things. Because
Yes.
regardless of how you feel about the current situation, the news is nothing but doom and gloom and horribleness. And there are times, I don't know about you, I can only watch so much Star Trek.
Mhm.
Do you feel the
I
same
agree.
way?
I do agree. And as you remember, a few months back, I went a whole long stretch without watching any Trek at all.
Yeah.
During the time where I was looking for my job and stuff like that. I just didn't want to, which might have been one of the first times in my entire life, adult life, that's happened. But we'll always watch Star Trek, but there's a lot of good stuff out there. And it's interesting to see the different tides and popular and unpopular topics that come along year after year with regards to TV shows and movies also, I guess. Like I remember one year there were like 4 volcano movies and and natural disaster movies and vampire movies and stuff like that. And same kind of thing happens with TV. But yes, you're absolutely right. These days, well, actually, most of the time, news is usually depressing. There's not a lot of, hey, stories leading off the news. It's, oh, guess what? Leading off the news. So,
yeah, that's really kind of it. I mean, plus, I mean, I've been watching a lot of the same things for the past several years. Like
Mhm.
literally, The Office has been on in my house every day for the last 7 years at some point. And that's not hyperbole. That's not exaggeration. Literally, it's on because it's comforting. You know, it's funny as all get out. But
Yeah.
other things have also been added to that list, like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and
Mhm.
some other things. Admittedly, I love a lot of trash TV. So like I watch 90 Day Fiance. I watch Married at First Sight, and I'm invested
Okay.
because those people are train wrecks. And there's nothing more I love than to make fun of them.
Okay. Nice.
But I still need other things to watch. So to that end, we're going to talk about what we can watch when we're trying to avoid watching the news.
Mhm.
For that, Dan, there's a little Star Trek tidbit to talk about, something that will get added to our streaming queues starting
Yes.
July 17th, and that is a brand
Boom.
new season of Star Trek Strange New Worlds announced today. Season 3 finally hitting Paramount Minus. Did I say that out loud? I'm really sorry. Paramount
Oops.
Plus. My copy was the AI screwed up my copy.
Yes.
Yeah, 10 episodes in season 3. By the time it airs, it will have almost been 2 full years since the
Wow, that's
Bourne
crazy.
cliffhanger.
That's crazy.
I don't know if that's the longest cliffhanger in history.
Yeah, it might be. That's for television. Yeah, that's a long time, and I'm excited about it. I love that the promo photo that they released got me thinking a couple of things. One, Uhura's hair next season. Whoa,
I love it.
that's pretty awesome.
I
Yep.
love it.
And second, the image reminded me a little bit about a little of Discovery and the mycelial network, that episode where they were kind of stuck between the mycelial and the regular, space. That
Yeah.
picture, I instantly thought of that for some reason when I saw that picture today on social media.
The one where they rescued Dr. Culber from
Yes.
the
Yep.
mycelial ether or whatever it
Yes.
was.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
That reminded me of that. So yeah,
Saints of Imperfection.
wow.
Thank you.
I am very impressed with that because I would not have been able to do that
Thank
yet.
you.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's probably one of the few episodes I remember during that season. There's also the Red Angel, which is easy to
Yep.
remember.
Pretty easy to remember that one. Yep.
So Dan, we're gonna take a quick stage setting break, and then we're gonna come back and talk about some shows that bring us joy or that we enjoy kind of burying ourselves in. Sound
I
good?
like it.
All right.
Sounds good.
Be
Let's
right
do it.
back. I just want to say that those segment bumps, one, look amazing, but two, they help me edit this in audio form. So if anybody wonders why they're there, that's exactly the reason. It's because it's much easier for me to grab audio, largely because I don't want to have to work any harder than I have to.
There's nothing wrong. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to give you any criticism on that, man.
Work smarter, not harder, Dan.
Why do you think you're my podcast partner? So that I know you're
Like you had anything to do with the formation of this thing.
That's right. I know. Absolutely. None at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, no,
Nope, I gave you the I said, "Hey, looks good, man."
yeah, looks good. Yeah, we could do that. Oh, could we? Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um, before we get into this, you and I are feverishly making plans for Star Trek Las Vegas, which
Uh-huh.
as of right now is 82 days away.
Okay. That's not a long time.
It's really not. We got a ton to do.
Yeah, we do. We've been scrambling this week getting ideas out there, so yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I can't help but be the good looks and the brains of this outfit.
You can't help it.
That's true. So
Yeah, we
Dan,
need yeah.
what
Anyway.
to watch when you're avoiding the news? I I don't know about your criteria for picking a show, but I'll walk you through some of mine.
Mhm.
Um, there are times when I like just video wallpaper, kind of like when you iron and watch Star Trek,
Yep.
where I like noise to be on in the background, say if
Mhm.
I'm editing audio or doing something else on the laptop. There are other times where I just want to tune out my device or my computer and just sort of focus and get engrossed in a story. And I've kinda got a mix of those types of things in the 5 shows that I have picked.
Okay.
What about you? Is there any kind of rhyme or reason as to what you picked and why you picked it, or why you're watching these shows to begin with?
No, not really. It's a whole scattering of reasons. One, a couple of the shows I watch with Sue, so we pick something together to watch. We both want to be interested in it. Some of the other things are we'll get in the list I'm watching now because I love it so much. I've seen it before. Another one I want to learn more about it because I've heard so much about it. And I love different things. I love comedy. I love adventure. I love drama. So it's all just a mishmash.
Charcuterie.
Yeah, mishmash. Not an easy word.
Mishmash. I said it
Mishmash.
just fine. Why don't
Mishmash.
you say, slipstream for Jeff
Slipstream.
Ashton out there? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
Very, very nice.
wow. You're starting early.
Wow. My goodness gracious.
Yeah,
Huh. Which one is
yeah.
she talking about there?
That's probably you.
We don't
Um,
even know. She's always yelling at me.
well, have you met you? I have.
Have you met very without even missing a beat, buddy. That's what I love about you.
Well, that's what happens. The union wants me to really, go
Yeah.
hard on these things. And I try to go as hard as often as I can, Dan. So Dan, let's start with your first show. I
Sure.
I'm gonna bring up the old slide deck. And this is a show that kind of surprised me when you told me you were starting watching it, but I think it's continuing on a theme, if I'm not mistaken. And that's the classic Three's Company.
Yeah. My wife and I always like to watch something while we're having dinner and something short, not something heavy and serious or dramatic. Half hour at the most. Sitcoms are the perfect one to choose. We did Big Bang Theory recently. And then a while back when we finished Big Bang, we're like, all right, let's come up with another one. And I have Three's Company on my Plex server. And I'm like, you know what? I haven't seen it in decades. What do you think about watching Three's Company? And I did not expect her to say, yeah, let's watch it. We started it and we love it. It's we're on season 8 right now. We're on the second to last season right now. And we watch an episode or two a night. And it's just fun television. It would never survive in today's world. The rampant sexism and it just so much wrong with what it was like back then in the 70s and early 80s when the show was made. But it's so funny. John Ritter is a physical comedic genius, and I love
Yes.
watching him on that show. So it's just a lot of fun. My wife and I enjoy it. Don Knotts is just absolutely hysterical as Mr. Furley. So it's just a show that I love, and I haven't seen until this watch right now. I haven't watched Three's Company in decades, and I
Mm.
still remember so many good episodes that were on.
It ran for 9 seasons?
Yeah. Yep. Everybody always talks about Chrissy, but she was only on for the first couple seasons. Then it
Yeah.
was for a couple seasons, and then it was Terry. Terry, I think, was on the longest.
Yeah, Priscilla
So yeah.
Barnes, right.
Yep. So yeah, I love the show. It's so good.
Yeah, I remember
It's
when
just
Jenny Lee
it's
Harrison
fun
jumped on to
comedy.
play Christie's cousin, I think it was.
Chrissy's cousin Cindy. Yep. Yep.
Cindy. Oh god.
Cindy Snow.
The MVP of that show clearly was Larry.
I am not a big Larry fan.
I am, because he's essentially,
Interestingly,
he's what's his name from Family Guy?
Quagmire.
Quagmire, yeah. Larry is Quagmire.
That I've never made that analogy, but it's perfect. Yeah. No, I'm not a huge Larry fan. I love the Ropers when they were the landlords, and I just love Mr. Furley. He is just, his facial expressions, and now that my dad's gone, I see some of those facial expressions, and I'm like, Jesus, that's my father right there, 100%.
Now,
It's so funny.
2 questions for you, because there were 2 spin-offs of Three's Company.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch the Ropers when they were broken out into their own show?
Mm-hmm.
I think that lasted for a season.
Yep.
And did you watch Three's a Crowd, where Jack kind of continued on his own with his new girlfriend, and he opened up Jack's Bistro?
Yeah, the Bistro. Yeah, the Bistro opened on this season of Three's Company. I did watch the Ropers. I don't remember much of it. I do remember watching it, and I also know that their neighbor, Jeff Tambor, is their neighbor. He's in like 3 different episodes as a different character on Three's Company.
Oh, yeah.
He's hilarious in all of them. And I do remember he was great on the Ropers. I might have watched Three's a Crowd. I don't remember if I did. I have no memory of it. It's possible I did, but I don't know. And yeah, there actually was a Ropers.
There was
show.
a Ropers.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It did star Norman Fell and Audra Lindley, and it ran for, I think, a season or a season and a half on ABC.
Yep.
And Jeffrey Tambor, who was also in Arrested Development, was also in it. He has looked the same for 50 years, that dude.
Yes, he certainly has. Yeah, and he's great in all of them. One of them, he plays a psychiatrist. And of course, because it's Three's Company, there's a misunderstanding, and Terry brings him home, and everybody in the apartment thinks that he's a patient at the psychiatric hospital and not the doctor. And it's hysterical because he can't remember a song and he's trying to sing it. Oh my God, it's so good. So
I feel comforted knowing that moo-moos get to space. Just based on Willow's comment.
Yes, absolutely.
By the way, John Ritter, one of the great physical comedians of any generation, right up there with like a Charlie Chaplin or a Harold Lloyd or even Lucille Ball. One of the best performers on television in his era, in his prime.
Yeah. Yeah. I love watching him. He's so good. So that was my first pick.
This is going to take me to my first pick. Then we're going to alternate tonight. And my first pick is kind of it's also a spin-off show in a way. And that is the CBS series Elsbeth.
I've never heard of it.
I love this character, Elsbeth Tassioni. She was originally a character who was introduced on the CBS TV series The Good Wife with Juliana Margulies. And of course, when that show ended, The Good Fight, a spin-off, started on then CBS All Access. And now this is the second spin-off of The Good Wife, Elsbeth, who is a lawyer who has got to be, well, she's rumored to be on the spectrum in some sense, but she clearly just, moves to the beat of her own drummer. Carrie Preston, who plays the lead, is delightful. She is just somebody who should have been at the top of a call sheet a long time ago. But Elsbeth is a happy character, and she finds the joy in things. The show is a little formulaic. I think of it kind of like Columbo in a sense, where she always catches the bad guy. And it's always the bad guy is always like the star of the week. So I appreciate that sort of retro callback. But this is a show that isn't bad. And you really don't need to have seen the other shows to pick up with Elsbeth at all.
That was going to be my question. I've never heard of this show. I am glad to see that Carrie Preston does have this role now. I loved her in True Blood. She was really good in that. But no, I have not watched The Good Wife or the other spinoff of that, but I understand that they are great shows. And I had no idea that they had even created a new spinoff based on this character. So that's interesting. I'm going to have to check into it a little bit.
And her real life husband, Michael Emerson, who of course from Lost, makes several guest appearances throughout the season, and that's all I'll say.
Okay.
So
all right.
Definitely, it's fun. I like the character. I know that this is going to be 40 to 45 minutes where I don't have to do anything serious with my brain. I can just enjoy it, even if I know how it's going to turn out. And it's really kind of helped me downshift. They just finished their first season. Oh, no, sorry, second season. My bad, second season. And I haven't seen the finale yet, but I hear the finale is a musical episode for season 2.
Oh, they're going down the Strange New Worlds road a little bit, I guess.
Well, or the Buffy the Vampire Slayer, or the It's Always
Yeah,
Sunny in Philadelphia, or Cop Rock, you name it.
Cop Rock. There you go.
Cop Rock.
Interesting. No, I will. See. This is another reason why I'm glad we're doing this topic tonight, because I've got shows now that I can look at based on what you're telling me, and the list of shows coming from our viewers is like it hasn't stopped since we started, which is cool. So I'm gonna have a lot of stuff to read through.
Yeah, after the FanSets break, we'll go back through the
Yeah,
comments, and we'll call some of those out before we
cool,
go
cool,
through the back 5 on our picks.
cool.
Excuse me. So yeah, Elsbeth is my first pick. Couldn't recommend it more. But I think your next pick is one that's let me say, maybe a little more serious.
Yes, I think it's a nice way to put it. I'll tell you what. I did not have huge expectations for this show. I had no desire to watch it when it first came out, and I had not planned on watching it at all. And then all I kept hearing people talk about is how good it was. It is so good. Kevin Costner is great. Blah blah blah. This, that, and the other thing. I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And this show is incredible. I just think the writing is fantastic. I think this is by far Kevin Costner's best acting gig that he has had in his entire career.
And he
He's
screwed it
had
up.
some. He completely screwed it up. He fucked it right up. Oh my god, big time. But it's amazing how good he is in this. And he's been good in a lot of stuff, and he's been bad in a lot of stuff. But this was perfect for him, and he completely screwed it up. But that didn't take away from how incredible this show really is and has been. And I've not even finished the final 5 episodes yet.
Oh wow. So
Yeah,
I know Yellowstone right now is available to watch on Peacock and not Paramount, even
correct.
though um its tie-in series, both prequel series are on Paramount Plus,
Yeah,
if I've got that
correct.
right.
Um,
So why it's on Peacock, I'll never know. But
yeah, who knows? I'm glad you brought that up. Thanks for saying that, man. I forgot to mention with Three's Company, it's everywhere. It's on Pluto. It's on YouTube TV. It's on Peacock also. You can get it through Sling, I think, also.
yeah,
So that is available in a lot of places. But yeah, Yellowstone is it's a drama that I did not expect to really get as involved and emotionally attached to as I have. It really is good. The characters are so intense and deep, and the acting is fantastic. The cinematography is just incredible for a television
it
show.
is gorgeous.
And you get to learn. I've learned a hell of a lot about horses and wrangling and stuff just by watching the show, because it's so accurate. So yeah, it's really a must see. Strangely enough, my wife has no interest in it. She hasn't watched it.
Well, if this helps you at all, both Yellowstone and the HBO series Succession are both essentially King Lear. As is Sons of Anarchy. Sons of Anarchy is
Mhm.
very much
Yep.
kind of a retelling of King Lear, where there's a mad king, and his children are trying to figure out how to divide up the empire,
Yes.
of
Yep.
sorts. And that's exactly what happens in Yellowstone. That's exactly what happens in Succession. It's kind of
Mhm.
like what happens in Sons. But I think that explains why Yellowstone is so good. It, of course, one of the many series from Taylor Sheridan, who once
Sheridan,
was
yeah.
a guest star on Star Trek Enterprise.
Yep. Yeah, and has been in a lot of stuff. He's been in Sons, and he's been in he's in Yellowstone. He's probably in all the ones that he's done. And it's funny that he was going home with nothing and leaving Hollywood with nothing in his pocket, because he just had no acting gigs coming along, and then he just decided to write something, and it piled up, and now he's like a multi-millionaire because of
Yeah.
his genius in his writings.
For Steve, for those who don't know, Kevin Costner, he screwed it up by all of a sudden deciding he didn't want to do the series anymore. He wanted to concentrate on his Western epic that he was trying to produce, that I think
Hmm.
everyone has forgotten about since by now. Um, and he decided he wanted to be in less and less scenes in the final season. And He had just had a major development of his character coming into that season, and
Yeah.
he just decided to be a jerk about it. He wanted to only show up for like a couple of days and shoot all of his stuff and then be gone. It's like, well, dude, you signed a contract to do the whole damn show.
Yeah. It's really
Um,
too bad.
so he was really kind of a diva about it.
Yep.
But
Good.
that's
Yeah.
that's
Good way to
Kevin
put it.
Costner. He gets a little success and then it goes straight to his head, and he thinks,
Yep.
"I'm Kevin Costner."
And it's funny. I understand it. Guy, he's got an idea in his head of what he's doing with his project, and so he steps away. I bet you, because we've seen this first part of this epic western that he's been working on has been horrible. It's been
Yeah.
horrible reviews, and this sounds very familiar of something that's happened in the past with somebody doing something like that. I bet you he's gonna someday just look back and say, "Boy, did I why I didn't push off my project for an extra year so that I could go down as one of the greatest TV shows in history
Mhm.
throughout the entire length of the show." But
Well, now
it
they've
is what it
already
is.
announced a spinoff of Yellowstone,
Yep. Yep.
um, called Marshalls, I think it is. There's gonna be other Yellowstone spinoffs for some of the other main characters, but, this
And
show could
and
have
even
easily ran for 7 or 8 years.
and as you just showed on screen, it's not a show that I thought I would have any interest and had no interest in it when I heard about it and the first year or two that it was out. Nope, nope, don't care. It's worth checking out big time.
And, Taylor Sheridan's other shows are actually quite good.
Yeah.
Lioness, Tulsa King, there were a few, Mayor of Kingstown.
Tulsa King. Yep. Yep.
Um, a lot of great shows. In fact, Tulsa King is some of the best stuff Sylvester Stallone has
I
ever done.
I think it's best he's ever done. Yep.
I
Yep.
went in with completely low expectations,
Hmm.
and I fell in love with the show almost immediately. So,
Yeah. Agreed. It's not on my list, but agreed. Yep.
let us continue on to my next pick. And
Absolutely.
well, before I bring it up on screen, I have to say I love. This is going to come out wrong. I love serial killers. My wife reads a lot of true crime. We watch. We've both seen a lot of Dateline episodes. I love that. That sort of genre. There's a serial killer movie, I'm all on board. When we talked to Andy Robinson, and he had really portrayed the
Hmm.
first serial killer on film
Yep.
in Dirty Harry, I was in my wheelhouse, man. I mean, I was locked in for that conversation a decade ago. But I don't think any modern broadcast TV show has ever done it better than Criminal Minds, which has now also come on to Criminal Minds Evolution on Paramount
Yep.
Plus with the same cast, which I'm still watching, and is even better than the original series.
Wow. Cool.
The original series is 15 seasons of some of the most messed up stuff
Yeah.
for broadcast TV. One, I don't know how this stuff got on CBS, some of these serial killer cases, because you watch that and go, how demented did these writers have to be to come up with half this shit?
Thank you.
And, and then you watch it and you're like, oh my God. So last night I'm watching an episode and I sent you a photo of this. Elias
You did.
Tufexis from Star Trek Discovery playing a blind serial killer who has to capture people to help him kill. What the hell?
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head, man, because I've said it before. Like the Saw movies. I'll use that example. I'm like, the movies are really incredible if you like that kind of stuff. What is going on in the heads of the people that come up with this stuff? Because it is ridiculously dark and scary and evil, and it works. I've not seen a lot of that of your show, Criminal Minds. I want to, and now I'm going to. But yeah, I can only imagine some of the stuff, because some of the stuff that we've seen on TV shows, not Criminal Minds, has been pretty freaky. But yeah,
It's Jim brings up a great point. The casting on Criminal Minds is outstanding. Will Wheaton once got cast as a serial killer on Criminal Minds. It was fantastic. It's dark, scary, and evil. I mean, I know you love horror. This is more thriller
yep,
than horror, although sometimes
yep,
it's really gross. Marina, yeah, I agree completely. One of the actors couldn't take the stories. That's why Mandy Patinkin, Inigo Montoya in The Princess Bride, left the series, several seasons in,
yeah.
just because of how dark it is. I love it.
Oh,
I
is that
eat
why
it
he
up.
left?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. And I could see why, man. I can't fault him for that one bit.
Yep.
But you know,
Huh.
Criminal Minds Evolutions, the continuation series on Paramount Minus. God, there it is again. Paramount Plus. Um, really kind of takes it to the next level where they follow one case for the whole season. And
Okay.
it is fucked up. I love it. And there it's in its third season now. It just started last week. Um, wow. Really?
Well, I had to
A
throw it in there.
a
Burley
hole?
had a nice. Well, you got to show Burley. You got to show.
She's talking about Will Wheaton.
No, the next one. Go down a little bit.
Yeah, that is the next one, jerk.
No, yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, I knew she was talking about Will Wheaton. Yes, but I'm like, oh, I was just trying to do a joke. Didn't work. Sorry. Move along.
What an a-hole. I hope for this next series, I hope you're one of the people that gets served up for dinner. But
Excellent. Very
um
nice.
so yeah, Criminal Minds, it's easy to start. I mean, each episode is, is very encapsulated. Later on, you get to things that, impact other episodes, but
Yeah.
largely it is episodic in nature and you can really fall into it anytime. You usually find out what you need to know.
And
So,
it's got to be good. It's been around for what, 15 seasons? You said
this current season of Evolutions makes 18.
18 total.
Um,
Wow. Yeah.
so,
All
and
right.
most of the original cast still with it. So,
Nice.
so Dan, let's continue on with your next pick before the FanSets break, and
Yeah.
that is a show I tried to watch, and that is Yellow Jackets.
Yes. This is a strange show. It's got a lot of weird shit going on in it. But when it first came out, I'm like, all right, let's check it out. And the first episode was just like, whoa, what is going on? And we just had to keep watching. It's one of those shows that once you start it, you like feel that you have to see just how weird it's gonna get, and it gets weird. And so this is one that Sue and I watch together, and we do enjoy it. And Christina Ricci, who I didn't even recognize her at first when the first season was out, that the character that you see on your screen. But she does a great job because she's a nutter in this one. But it's good. It's weird television, but it is good. That being said, I just heard that it's season 3 right now, and I really have no idea how they've been able to get 3 seasons out of it. It's already been
Right?
signed up for a 4th season, so they're kind of jumping the shark because I really just don't have any idea what they could do. And I'm only halfway through season 3, and I'm like, okay, what is going on now? But that being said, we like watching it. So that's what we're watching right now to avoid the news.
Kelly and I made it through the first episode and said, "Yeah, I don't think that's for us."
Yeah,
Yeah, and the thing is, we put it on during dinner.
not a good idea.
Not a great idea.
Yep.
Like there's some movies I just can't watch like alive.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Ugh. You like shows where people crash land and have to live on an island, don't you?
Well, they didn't live on an island in
No,
Yellow
but I
Jackets.
mean,
They're
essentially,
just crash land.
yeah.
I guess so. Yeah. And I'll
Weird
tell you what,
shows. Yeah.
it's probably a good thing that I already finished it because I know how you feel about the loss. But if I was still watching it right now for my 6th watch through, it would have been on my list, but it's not.
I would have made you pick another show.
Wow.
I gotta call out this comment real quick. Willow, I stopped watching Scorpion from the very first episode when they try to get the network cable from the speeding car on the runway up to the plane.
What show
Yeah.
is this?
Scorpion. It was an Alex Kurtzman, Roberto
Oh,
Orsi show.
No clue.
Dreadful.
Okay.
Dreadful.
Not on your list then.
Yeah, no, when they tried to make a network connection, with a green screen, obviously. Yeah, I was done. Done. As somebody who works in technology, couldn't take it.
That's funny. Oh my gosh.
So Dan, let's pause for a moment here and
Yeah.
talk about our
Uh-huh.
good friends at FanSets. And I'm speaking slowly so I don't have to open up multiple things. And so I can kind of change backgrounds while we're sort of on the fly. Hey, look at
you
that.
go.
As
That
if
is
by
fun.
magic, because Garcia
That's fun.
is fired, that jerk. Of course, we want to take a moment to thank FanSets for being the presenting sponsor of both Trek Geeks and Thursday Night Geeks, which, Dan, I don't know if you know this, is presented by FanSets.
It's presented by FanSets, and it's on Thursdays, so that's pretty awesome.
Thursday
but
night.
not as awesome as FanSets. You know, we love them. We get to see them in 82 days, which is just so exciting. But every time we sit down to talk, they're releasing new stuff, and it's no different today, man. They have over 500 officially licensed pins, and they have some new ones as of today. I didn't think there were any coming out, and then like 5 minutes before we went live, I looked on their website, and there are new ones like these. Ensign Jennifer, Jesus, Shrian. I don't even know if that's how I pronounce it. From Star Trek Lower Decks is now available. Everybody just called her Jennifer, so I'm sorry.
Jennifer, move.
Get it right, Jennifer. Exactly. Also available right now is the Starfleet Academy logo pin. I'm gonna call this from their title package because they have several other shows which have this bar look to it. I like it. Starfleet Academy, so that's available right now too. Also right after that, this is big, dude. Very, very big. Finally, the Star Trek Kelvin Universe Sciences Delta in both pin and magnet form is now available. I know several people are going to be very happy because I've been waiting for this one for a long time. They're all available right now at fansets.com, my friend.
As you can see, I'm wearing my my Strange New Worlds Admiral badge, like full boat Admiral.
Full boat.
And this pin, can I tell you, this pin is heavy.
Yes.
It has got some way, like I could try to pull this off my sweatshirt. I really have to try to pull this thing off because it's not going anywhere. The magnets on here, I think are some of the strongest they've used for their deltas. It's amazing.
Yep. They always do a great job with their deltas. Fantastic.
And of course, Dan, you know what I'm going to say. We want you to get all those pins. We want you to put them in your cart. You get on over there to fansets.com, get all those pins. And then at checkout, because you're going to check out, you want these pins. Yep. Enter the special discount code TrekGeeks for 10% off your entire order at fansets.com. That's TrekGeeks in all capital letters, no spaces, automatically get 10% off. And Dan, don't forget, when you spend more than $30 on fansets.com, you automatically get what in the United States?
Free shipping.
Free shipping in the US.
That's pretty awesome. FanSets.
You're awesome.
Oh, thank you. Our pins have character, and we thank our friends at FanSets for being the presenting sponsor of Thursday Night Geeks.
And Trek Geeks.
Well, you know, it's a given.
That
bread and butter, peanut butter and jelly.
Bread and butter.
Dan and Bill, you know.
So before we go to the back five, as I refer to it, I'm going to go back through the comments, starting from the beginning.
Oh boy, we're going to be here for a while now.
Some suggestions here.
I like it.
Wow, everybody's very commenty tonight. I love to see it. Let's see. Of course, you know. Well, this is a great pick every time. Classic TV. I Love Lucy. Great show. Happy Days, always fantastic. Stargate franchise and Doctor Who. I'll take your word for that. I have a hard time watching any other sci-fi other than Star Trek. So, Dan, have you ever watched either?
I've seen the first Stargate movie.
Yep.
And I've seen the Tom Baker years of Doctor Who. But that's about it.
Then we got The Honeymooners, more classic TV.
Very classic.
To the Moon, Alice. Not controversial at all today.
No, not at all. No.
Parks and Rec, which is another great show, you know, co-created by Mike Shore, who was on The Office as Mose, Dwight's cousin. Fantastic show. Northwoods Law, shout out to New Hampshire right there.
Great show.
Great show. Castle. And Haley's finally watching Supernatural. Still haven't seen it.
I saw Castle I think I saw Castle when it was on, and have never watched Supernatural.
Yeah. The Castle, is that the one with Nathan Fillion?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Survivor is on the list. I'm honestly surprised that show is still on, quite honestly. Nothing against it.
It's still on, really?
Yeah, it really is.
Wow.
Family Guy, just because.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I love votes for Family Guy. Comment familiar. John Ritter in Ain't Simple Rules was comic gold. Absolutely. It's a shame he
There,
passed during the production of that show.
there's an episode where he's having a dream, and that's the Three's Company set.
Oh, that's amazing.
And all the people from that show are characters from Three's Company. And then he wakes up from the dream and is all like, "Oh my god!" and turns to tell his wife about it. And the cover comes over, and it's Don Knotts. And then he wakes up from waking up, and it's pretty awesome.
That's pretty awesome. Buffy and Three Stooges. Can't turn down either of those.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of Buffy when that was on. Alias. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Love what's her name? Jennifer Garner. Took me a minute. Because the brain doesn't fire as a Severance. This show I think has the potential to be sort of this generation's Lost in how it asks more questions than it really ever answers. Huh. And it's a mind bleep. It really is. But it's amazing. It's fantastic.
I've heard great things about it. I have not seen it. I do know that season 2 just came out, right? I believe.
Yes.
I believe season 2 just came
out.
out.
After like a 3-year delay because of COVID and then the strike.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. All right.
Dan, we forgot to cover this before, so I'll ask you now. No. What are you drinking?
Oh, fuck. I was lazy, and they're just so good. I went with the Apple Cosmo that I introduced last week on the show with the apple vodka, the sour apple, and the cranberry juice, which gives it the real thumbs up for this one. That's what I got tonight. What about you, man?
Kick. I'm back on water because my shipment of Zepbound finally made it.
Okay.
So back on the I'm back on the junk. So
all right,
water it is.
Cool. Nature's alcohol.
No. Nature's thing that makes me get up at least twice a night.
Yes.
Farscape is a fantastic show. Produced in cooperation with the Jim Henson Company. Jim is watching Lone Star Law. Burley throws out Firefly, which is not really even a show. Anything with Gordon Ramsay, I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
So Dan, that's where we are. We got some great suggestions there. I have rewatched like old Hell's Kitchen episodes on, I think it's it might be Ion Television or one of those free streamers.
Yeah.
But I never tire of Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, of course. The best ever episode of Hell's Kitchen was the one that we were for, but was never really on television because it was just like a shocking thing that happened.
It's on Pluto. Thank you.
Thank you, to actually see a guy get caught on fire at a bar, but that's what happened.
Yeah, so we were at the Hell's Kitchen in Vegas during STLV one year, the first summer that it was open, because it used to be a restaurant that Haley really loved, with an amazing grilled cheese. I remember that part of it. And so now it's Hell's Kitchen. And the first night we went in there for our annual Ramsay dinner, this was the first change of location. We went in there and they used to serve this flaming drink up until that night because God's honest truth, you can Google this. Somebody literally caught fire at Hell's Kitchen on Gordon Ramsay.
We all saw it. Went right up his arm, on his head. Oh, yeah. Yep. He was okay, though.
He was, I'm sure eventually he got a very nice settlement from Caesars.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But we stay, for anyone who really wants to know, yes, we did stay for dinner.
We did. And it was good.
Willow says, I don't watch Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, but I do rewatch a video I took of Dan on stage at STLV as Guy Fieri. Is that the one where he falls down?
Oh, that was a fun story. Everybody thought it was part of the act. Oh, it was not. It scared the hell out of me.
All right, Dan, let's get into the back five.
Yes. Here we go.
I believe my pick is up next.
Mm-hmm.
This was, Willow says, yes, it was.
Oh, great.
This is a show that's currently airing on Hulu. The first season concluded, I want to say maybe 6 or 7 weeks ago. And that's Paradise, starring the incredible Sterling K. Brown, who is amazing in every single thing he's in. Now, when I describe it to you initially, it may sound like, why would I want to watch this? Because it sounds too much like the news, but I assure you it is not. He is a Secret Service agent who is tasked with trying to figure out who assassinated the president on his watch. And that really does not even come close to telling you what the show is about. There are twists and turns like 24. There is a big twist at the end of episode 1 where you just do not see it coming regarding the setting of the show. It's a little Twilight Zone-ish in that sense at the end of the first episode, but there's a lot there to unpack. They do kind of have to Tarantino the story, so there are flashbacks a la Lost all the time. But it was way better than I thought it was gonna be. I have to say that. I didn't know what to make of it, and by the end, I was like, I want season 2 like right now.
Every word you said about the show makes me want to watch it more and more. This is the perfect type of show for me. I had not heard of it. I had not seen anything about it. I don't know if I'm living under a rock too much, but I can guarantee you I will be watching it based on what you have described it as. It sounds like something I absolutely is right in my wheelhouse.
I think it snuck in for a lot of people. One, because it's on Hulu. I don't think people think of Hulu as a first run, series source, even though it is. And honestly, I don't think I don't think that Hulu and Disney's advertising, figured that Sterling K. Brown was, big enough name to start promoting the series on. The man is an Emmy winner. He's a fantastic actor. I think one of the best, probably on television today. If you've ever watched This Is Us, he completely slayed as Randall on that show. Some of the best drama I've ever seen on television. And he puts this role on, and there's emotion, and there's action, there's twists. By the time you get just a couple episodes in, what you thought about the show is not what the show is.
Huh.
So
that's a definitely I'm getting it.
I love this. Under a rock for sure, Dan.
For sure. Yep.
Apparently they're showing it on ABC now as well. I'm sure it's also edited for content. So definitely watch it on Hulu.
Okay.
Because in the opening scene, a guy talks about, he's got to have somebody take over for him because he's got to go take a monster shit. His words, not mine. Because one of the other guys on the team made burritos. So,
okay.
Already you're editing out some prime quality.
Excellent.
Yeah. And Jim, if we can get that video of Dan falling down, we will absolutely air it as an exclusive on Thursday Night.
Absolutely. I'd love to see it. I haven't seen it. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that is my next pick in the
nice.
in the list. Yours is one we've kind of mentioned tangentially next.
Yes.
And one that I've seen many times and really just don't get enough of. And that, of course, is Sons of Anarchy.
This is one of the best shows to ever be on television, in my opinion. This show is so good for so many different reasons. First is that guy. Ron Perlman as Clay is so great in this role. This is where I really, really grew to appreciate him as an actor. I love the characters. It's amazing to watch a show where you are rooting for the bad guys because they are a criminal biker gang. They sell guns and they're involved in the IRA in Ireland. I mean, they're murderers and all this stuff, but you root for them. And it's such a great show. It's one of the type of shows where it's just one fiasco and life-changing moment after. As soon as you finish fixing up one problem, another one happens that's even worse than the one before. And that's all it is, all the way down the road. And that makes it show. It's a perfect television show. I love it.
Sorry, getting a score check on the Carolina Hurricanes game. Tied 1-1. 1-1 at the end of 2. Thank you, Ross. Much appreciated. As we mentioned earlier, I mean, there is a very big Shakespearean quality to Sons of Anarchy.
Yes.
I think it's more Hamlet than it is King Lear. Now that I think about it, because Jax is kind of the boy king, if you will.
Mhm.
And it's exceptional. I mean, Kurt Sutter, who was a longtime writer on The Shield, one of my favorite shows, did this right afterwards, and it's exceptional television. You don't even have to like motorcycles to love this show.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
just written that well, and there's plenty of humor in it.
Lots of humor.
Walton Goggins, who is a huge star right now because of Fallout and The White Lotus and The Righteous Gemstones, has
Yeah.
a recurring role in later
Yeah.
seasons that I don't want to spoil.
Mhm.
That is comedic gold. It really
It's
is.
yeah, it really is.
That character
Uh,
and Chucky are probably two of my favorites on the show.
yeah. Yeah, it is a
Yeah.
great show. There's Kate Segal does such a good job as Gemma, the gang queen. It's just so great. The show is awesome. It had a spinoff which I want to watch and haven't had a chance to, and that's the Mayans, and I'm looking forward to that. It's a show that I don't get bored of, and I love watching it. I think I'm on my 4th rewatch of it right now that I'm actively watching it. So yeah,
I
love
have
the
The
show.
Shield going on right now too.
Mhm.
'Cause I it seems like I do one rewatch of that every year somehow. Here's what happens, Dayton Ward brings it up somehow. I'm like, "Oh, man, I need to watch The Shield again," because Dayton and I are both huge Shield fans. He'll bring it up on social media, make a Shield reference, and I'm like, I'll send him a graphic, a picture of me watching the Shield. I'm like, "It's your fault again. Here I go.
That's
Once more
great.
into the breach." Um, yeah, that is Suns never disappoint. Honestly, neither does The Shield if you need something to watch too. I haven't seen Mayans. I didn't like it as much. I thought it built a much slower
Okay.
pace than Suns did right away.
Okay.
Suns starts off like on fire right out of the gate, practically.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
and Mayans does not. It's a slow build. So
Okay.
give it a little time.
I will do that. Yep.
So on to my next pick, and this is a relatively new series. It was probably the highest rated comedy on NBC this year, all year long, and that is St. Denis Medical. It's a show that is from the creator of Superstore, who is also a writer on The Office, and it is shot very much in the style of The Office, almost like a faux documentary. It
Oh,
seems like there are all kinds of those shows now, but that's fine. It's its own genre now of television, and I'm here for it. But it's a hospital, and it's got David Allen Greer from In Living Color and Allison Tolman, who's been through a lot of things. And what's her name? That is this Wendy McClendon Covey from Reno 911 and the Goldbergs. And it's low key hilarious. It really is. If you watched The Pit on Max, which is
mhm.
stressful television, man, this is the exact opposite.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what's the reference gonna be? Okay.
It is a half-hour comedy. It's mindless, it's fun. But it's a show with 20 episodes in the first season I just fell in love with. And
Wow.
I'm here for it, for future seasons. It
When
was
when
enjoyable
when was its first season?
this year.
And they had 20 episodes? Wow, that's like unheard of nowadays.
Well, for broadcast TV, it's usually somewhere between 18 and 20.
Oh, okay. All
Um,
right.
wait, there were bald eaglets on a live feed?
That sounds fun.
I have not heard of this. Anyway, so yeah, St. Denis Medical, great show. Couldn't recommend it more. Um, yeah, that's it.
Okay, so the next two are I don't know if we want to call them the top ones, but they're the
Our
last
last
ones
picks.
on the list. 3 of your shows so far,
Yeah.
I had never heard of until tonight. Under a Rock.
Well, no, I mean, we all get into our own habits, right? We
Yeah.
watch some of the same things over and over. We watch comfort things.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily with the shit that's been going on the last 5 years, cumulatively, we don't necessarily pause and sort of take time to ingest something new because it's different. We have to think about it. We want something that's
Mhm.
going to wrap us up in a blanket and go, I know what this is.
Yeah. Yep.
This next pick of yours, frankly, stuns me. Um, and I mean that because, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the show. I have not seen the current season yet, but this is a show that really was a how-to Bible for Project 2025. And am really kind of stuttering as to how you got to this as something you want to watch instead of the news.
Okay, well, first, Haley's been bugging me to start watching this, idiot. She said earlier in the show, she was like, "You gotta watch it, so good, it's good." And I'm like, "Okay, all right." And I watched like 15 minutes of it one day, and I'm like, I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it. And even though this is gonna be weird to explain, even though this is what we would watch other than the news, with all the stuff going on in the news and Project 2020, 2025, and all the badness going on, and knowing very small details about what the show is about, I said to my wife, I said, okay, this is probably not a good time to do this, but do you want to watch Handmaid's Tale and see if it's something that we would like? And she had heard a little bit about it too. And she kind of thought about it for a second, and she goes, yeah, let's do it. And so we watch it. We've just right before we recorded tonight, we watched the 7th episode of the first season. We've only in it for 7 episodes. It is amazingly scary. It petrifies me. It is so real feeling, which is an awful thing to be saying, but it feels like that's what is like happening, slow percolating type of thing. It's an incredible show, but it's an incredible show for so many reasons that just scare the hell out of me, to be honest.
I can't disagree with you one bit. It is when you step back and you think about the story, when I started watching it 6, 7 years ago, I forget how long, where it was now. I would say to myself, there's no way this would never happen. And now here I am eating
Mhm.
kind of crow because, kind of the first dominoes of that have literally fallen.
Yeah.
I'm at a point where I can't watch the current season and separate it from my view of the world and what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Um, Only because it stresses me out that much.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense because you know, one of the things I joke about with my wife is she won't watch Breaking Bad because she knows it'll stress her out too much. It's like, okay, but we're watching this and we're getting stressed out for real reasons because of the similarities and the possibilities that we're seeing put on screen as what could be happening. So for us, it's because of what's going on, we feel we have to watch it. Kind of opposite of what you're
Yeah.
saying, but it's powerful, man. It's not for everybody. I'll say right now, there are some people that I've seen some people in the comments. It's gonna turn you. The first episode is really gonna turn you off, and
Yep.
it it is this Gilead. I always mispronounce it.
Gilead.
Gilead.
Yeah.
Gilead
It's
is
it's the same word. Yeah.
it's the darkest place you could ever possibly think in modern day. I mean, it is awful, and it's so good and it's so terrifying at the same time, the show. And Elizabeth Moss is awesome in this role. She can act her ass off, and there's a lot of extreme close-ups, and she has to have her eyes just right, she's incredible in this role. And we're only 7 episodes in.
She's also fantastic in The West Wing as President Bartlett's daughter. She's also fantastic in Mad Men as Peggy Olson, but she really comes into her own here at the top of the call sheet on Handmaid's Tale. And she also has directed many episodes, especially in the later seasons. So
Okay.
not only is she a producer, not only is she directing a ton of episodes, she is very involved in the production of this series. She's not just showing up to recite her
Yeah.
lines. So this clearly is something that she has invested herself into, and it shows.
And I just found out, and unfortunately, it's kind of a spoiler for me, even though I'm only on season 1 right now. There's a spinoff coming out,
Yeah,
called Testament, and one of the characters that I've seen in the first few episodes is in the spinoff. So I know that nothing's going to happen to this person throughout the entire series. So But yeah, and I'm thankful that Haley kept saying, you got to watch it, because I don't know if I hadn't had that conversation, would have been in my head thinking about all the stuff going on in the world today. So it's really good for people that can stomach the harshness of what that world is like. It's worth checking out.
Plenty of stuff happens to that one character, and there's nothing that says that show couldn't be part prequel, part sequel.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, that character, oh geez, another time. So Dan, we're down to my final pick. And I started to watch this next show because it was pretty big on Netflix. It was showing up on the top 10 for, months at a time. It concluded its 9-year run on USA some time ago. And I wanted something mindless. I wanted something that, kind of had some really good repartee and some good writing between characters. And Suits turned into every bit of that for me. This is not high drama. This is a legal show. It's about a guy who gets hired as a lawyer who never passed law school, which is, by the way, not legal. Never took the bar, none of it. And then the deception that ensues. And yes, in the center, that is Meghan Markle. This is how she became known to the world. Was on Suits before she was ever a princess of sort, or sorry, a duchess or whatever she is now.
Mm-hmm.
But before she met Prince Harry, yeah,
Kate,
one of Diana's sons. Those royal people I don't care about, but Gina Torres is in there, and Gabriel Macht, whose dad Stephen Macht was a guest star on Deep Space Nine, playing a Bajoran general. He also turns up in the show.
Nice.
And Rick Hoffman, who turns up in just about everything from 2000 on, if it's a procedural. But it's a funny show. It's a show that you sit back and go, that would never happen. And it's okay to suspend that disbelief, because in the end, it's fun. And I can watch it and not invest anything mentally into it.
Yeah.
The complete polar opposite of Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah. So I actually, you know what, dude? I don't think there's anything that wouldn't be complete opposite of Handmaid's Tale.
And Jim brings up a really great point. There was a sequel on NBC called Suits LA, which was just canceled after its first season on NBC.
Oh, that good, huh?
I really think it's kind of hard to get lightning in a bottle twice. Stephen Amell, who was on Arrow as the title character, he doesn't carry the same gravitas as Gabriel Macht. He really doesn't. Suits worth checking out if you need something mindless, if you need something fun, if you need to cheer for, ultra rich people who skirt around the law, then I'm all for it. It has its own drama at times, but it's still fun to watch.
Well, if you're looking for something mindless and dumb, just do what you're doing right now. Tune into us at 8:00 on Thursday night.
Watch Thursday Night Geeks every Thursday. So we may be getting into spoiler territory here for Thursday Night Geeks. We're talking to somebody on Monday. Is that correct? This coming Monday?
That is correct, sir. Yes.
And we're going to be bringing that conversation on Thursday.
Yes.
Of next week, Thursday Night Geeks.
Yep.
And that person, Dan. Well, I'll let you let the cat out of the bag.
I'm not telling it. No, you guys have to wait.
I can't set it up like that and you don't say anything.
I just softball it until I go right by.
Yeah. Way to go. That was slow pitch softball.
Hammer's joining us, man. Hammer's coming to the house. Bruce Horak is going to be joining us from Strange New Worlds. So excited. I've met him once for like 5 seconds, and I just could have sat with him all day and talked. We are thrilled to be able to have him come on to talk about a special project that he's working on, but also to get all the digs on what it was like to be, working on the set when he was, and why they had to kill off Hammer so soon.
Quick aside here. Both Ross and Burley bring up Resident Alien. Couldn't agree more. And Willow, my bad. Ross and Willow. Fun fact, Chris Sheridan, who adapted that for television, is a guy who was a couple of years ahead of me at Guilford High School in Guilford, New Hampshire. His
Yes.
mom was the elementary school nurse across the street at Guilford Elementary School.
That's pretty awesome.
So he also was a writer for Family Guy for years. So, but yeah, next week, Bruce Horak here on Thursday Night Geeks with us, actually.
That's going to be great.
I know that's the downside. It's with us.
Sorry. Take the good and the bad, right?
The good. See, you take the good, Dan, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have Thursday Night Geeks. That's going to do it for this week, Dan. I'm sure I'll be talking to you next week. Thank you to everybody in the audience for joining us, whether you're watching this live with us on Thursdays or after the fact, sort of on Memorex. Thank you so much for watching and being a part of it. Please share it with your friends, share it with your neighbors, share it with people who you even don't like. We'd love to have that happen. And of course, please don't forget to like and subscribe. That helps us out greatly. Of course, until next week, when the Subspace Anomaly opens again, we hope you all live long and prosper. You're not going to say it?
Out, coconut.
Thank you.
We don't do that on this show. No,
we do now.